A huge warm welcome, art lovers, to the art vlog with me, George Dopamine. Today I'm here at the Barbican Art Gallery in the city of London to bring you a sneak peek inside the show by American artist Carrie Mae Weems entitled Reflections for Now. I'm very excited about this show. It's the largest of Carrie Mae Weems' work that's ever been shown in the UK, and I haven't seen much of her work in person. I'm very aware of the kitchen table series, but and a few other pieces, but it's fair to say that Carrie Mae Weems is not the household name in the UK that she is in the United States, where she was the first African American artist to have a solo show at the Guggenheim Museum in New York. Carrie Mae Weems is a photographer, an installation artist and a video artist, so I'm hoping that all of these aspects of her practice are on display here at the Barbican Centre. This show is on until the 3rd of September and is £16 to get in, so come and join me as we head inside. The exhibition is split into a series of works upstairs in the different rooms which form the Barbican Gallery, and in Painting the World you're confronted with what at first seem like a series of abstract paintings. They are in fact photographs, storefronts from Portland, Oregon, showing signs that the authorities painted over that were protesting against the murder of George Floyd. And in these works, the artist plays with both the potential of expression and providing a historical record as well. They appear flat and two-dimensional in many cases, and they're very powerful works to start the exhibition. From When I Saw What Happened and I Cried are photos that were discovered by Weems in a Harvard Museum archive. They're photographs of enslaved men and women, and their original purpose was to assert white supremacism. And Weems is making the point that racial violence can be perpetrated through photography. She changes the photos, as you can see here, adding red, blowing them up, adding the circular camera-like shape, and adding words to reclaim these photographs posthumously. We then come to the first film work, Holocaust Memorial. Carrie Mae Weems was a dancer before she became an artist, and has often expressed understanding of the similarities between the suffering of Jewish people and African Americans, and this work relates very much to that. The landscape of broken dreams, a case study room, shows another aspect of Carrie Mae Weems' work, and that is of installation art. This is a tribute to the Black Power movements of the 1960s, and as the title suggests, Landscape of Broken Dreams is quite a heart-rending installation in lots of ways. You're encouraged to be part of it, to sit in those chairs that you can see there, to flick through the magazines. You can sit at that desk as well. And an important part of this installation is a set of the Encyclopedia of History of Violence that records the myriad forms of violence practiced against black people in both the United States and globally. It's a room to really immerse yourself in. From installation art, we're taken straight back to photography and probably Carrie Mae Weems' most famous work, the kitchen table series. A series of photographs taken around her own kitchen table with one solitary light. This takes up 2 rooms on the top floor, and it's worth every single inch that it takes up. You can probably see those little texts as well. They accompany the photographs to give you a sense of narrative in this journey towards self-emancipation. And this is very clearly both a feminist and also a feminist work, as well as a comment on the racial position of African American women. I thoroughly was beguiled by it. It was very powerful, and it's worth spending a lot of time in this space if you are at the exhibition. Unlike the kitchen table series, I wasn't aware of the work on 22 million very tired and very angry people. But here Weems uses images and objects to allude to big world events, and they kind of build. You'll see a couple here, or some here again, apologies for the reflections. Very benign, simple objects referring to seismic moments in 20th century history, and there's a sense of building when you see these works together. In 2008, hugely significant year for African Americans, obviously with the election of Barack Obama as president, and also the 40th anniversary since the assassination of Martin Luther King. Carrie Mae Weems got students at the Savannah School of Art and Design to recreate famous historical events in that period and in American history, and you see these in the photographs you can see here.
The Louisiana project was a vast multimedia work which kind of explored the very troubling history of this southern state in terms of race. And the little extract we see from this today focuses on these photographs which challenge and take down and almost mock the racial undertones of the original New Orleans Mardi Gras and expose the white supremacism of this very famous event originally.
If the kitchen table series is the masterpiece upstairs, the beating heart of the show in many ways is The Shape of Things, a film in 7 parts. It's an epic multi-screen comment on many different modern themes, as you can hopefully see here.
another new work. It's Over, a diorama, pays tribute to all the African American victims of police violence in the United States. And as you can see here, it contains a kind of memorial to these victims, as well as a wall which names those victims as well. It's an incredibly powerful work. Roaming sees Carrie Mae Weems transfer her practice to Rome and to take centre stage, if you like, in these photographs with her back to the camera. And she makes some really interesting links between Imperial Rome, Mussolini's Rome, and the idea that architecture has always been used to impose Western imperialism throughout its history. In the ongoing work Museums, which is still producing new works, Carrie Mae Weems explores the idea that museums themselves are part of imposing established power dynamics over the world. And it's, again, we see her with her back to the camera, like in Roaming, but this time in front of some of the world's most preeminent museums, and it's a really clear link between the architecture and the purpose of these museums.
Well, art lovers, I really hope that you enjoyed that sneak peek into the Carrie Mae Weems show. Reflections for Now here at the Barbican Centre. To sum up, I thought it was an excellent survey of her work. It wasn't a full retrospective, but it's absolutely as close as we've come here in the UK. And I thought it showed off the three main media that she uses. Obviously, there was loads of photography and some really fantastic photography series. I thoroughly enjoyed the two installations, and there was several film works as well. So if you want to get to know this artist, who's very important, I think, and a great artist in so many ways, then do come along to this exhibition. Some highlights for me included in the sort of second major piece, if you like, from Where I Saw What Happened and I Cried. I thought this was a really powerful attempt to restore dignity by giving words and context to these photographs that she found from Harvard. I found that incredibly moving. I also absolutely adore the two installations. You know, I'm a bit of a sucker for installation art. I love the Land of Broken Dreams, a case study room, where it kind of was allowing you to explore so many different aspects of resistance to oppression from African Americans, including the Black Panther movement. And I love the fact that you could sit down and immerse yourself. You could read, flick through the books. You could use the kind of little photo dioramas. You could almost touch things. It was a really fantastic space, and I absolutely was incredibly moved by It's Over, a diorama, which was the memorial to African Americans who had lost their lives to police violence, which is a theme that comes through. And what I thought about the sense of the show was that there was a sense of anger lots of times, and also an attempt to look forward as well in lots of the works. The highlight for me was the kitchen table series of photographs, which took 2 rooms. They're masterpieces in my opinion, and I love the way that there were these really dense texts written by the artist, which kind of told the story along with the photographs. Made it very clear this was both a comment, a feminist piece, and also a really powerful piece on race as well. There are a couple of works which personally didn't move me. I thought the film work on the Holocaust Memorial left me cold. It didn't really speak to me in the way that I assumed the artist wanted me to. And I thought some of the photography which were not focusing on people, especially downstairs, although I could absolutely see what the artist was saying, I found that they were a bit more static and a bit less involving. The epic film work, The Shape of Things, I thought it was really interesting. By the way, it takes 40 minutes to do watch it all. I think it's really good. It's a film work which surrounds you, as you saw. It's split into 7 acts, or 7 films if you like, and I thought the first 5 were absolutely incredible. I was sort of going, oh my god, is this going to be one of my favourite ever pieces of video art? I thought that Acts 6 and 7, which attempted to look to the future, and to a certain extent out of 5, kind of let this down a little bit. But it was a really important comment on race, the troubling state of American politics today, and it's particularly relevant with what's going on with Donald Trump over in America at the moment. So I thought it was a good work that was almost a great work, if you see what I mean. And I do recommend that you give yourself 40 minutes to see it. So overall, what a fantastic opportunity to be in the world of a really important artist, who I'm sure after this exhibition has closed will have a very different reputation in the UK, which will hopefully match the American one. And it's fantastic, and I would love to see an even bigger retrospective at some stage from this artist. I would give this show an 8 out of 10 because it is so comprehensive, and there's some really magnificent art within the show, despite some inconsistencies in my opinion. It's on until the 3rd of September, and I think that £16 is very good value. You'll be in there for about 2 hours if you watch all the film pieces. Don't forget to subscribe to the Art Blog, hit that notification bell for many more shows from London, the southeast of England and beyond.